As promised, I'm taking you with me to fill the last few pages of my sketchbooks. This one is a design that always makes a good sketchbook page. This exercise uses any size and any number of boxes, and no matter what you draw in them, it reliably gives an excellent result. Even if you dislike the outcome of one or two of the squares, the design as a whole will not suffer. It is good for when you only have a few minutes to draw, and even one box completed gives you a sense of accomplishment. The last two boxes of this grid are blank, so in this video I will draw one of my favorite pieces of jewelry in one box and the top of my favorite ballpoint pen in the other. Here is an older example where I chose the same subject for every box. I got this idea from Danny Gregory. He used to have a blog where he posted his artwork and ideas for sketchbook pages. He wrote many books about drawing, and my favorite is Creative License. He has a YouTube channel where he sadly talks about drawing more than showing his work, but his advice is extremely helpful. The organic look of hand-drawn lines for the squares is appealing to me, but if the lines are too wonky, I don't like it. So I draw the grid in pencil first and then freehand the outline of the squares with a black pen, using the pencil line only as a guide. I have used a gray pen to start the drawing. If I start with a light gray or a light blue pen, the lines that are not accurate are easily covered up and there are no pencil lines to erase or eraser crumbs to clean up. Generally, I like to draw from life in every square, just a snippet of something. Sometimes after the square is completed, the object is unrecognizable, but even so, the square has a dynamic composition. This set of drawings are all in black, white, and gray. Sometimes I will do these grids with other color schemes too. Since this exercise generally turns out well, it is a good way to add low pressure, pleasing pages to your sketchbook, and drawing from life is a good way to improve your drawing skills. This page has turned out to be one of my favorite spreads in the whole sketchbook. This exercise could illustrate your day, or a trip, or a theme like things you are grateful for. Now I keep a gratitude journal because when I was younger, I used to keep diaries. And even though they are good for releasing emotions, recording significant events, noticing patterns, boosting creativity and stress relief, they are also magnets for intruding eyes. Which brings me to my story. I was in 11th grade in 1985, and my mother and I weren't getting along, probably because of my willful disobedience and tendency to tell bold lies. She had been in my diary more than once trying to find the truth. So I foolishly decided to take it to school to keep it safe from my mother. I couldn't keep it in my locker because I shared a locker with several people. So I took it with me to every class. First of all, the need to hide it from my mother was the proof that there was incriminating evidence in it. Of course, I left it in typing class. It was only a few minutes into the next class when I realized that I had forgotten it, and when I went back for it, it was already gone. What a disaster! I had never been so uneasy in all my 17 years, wondering who had it and who was reading it. For several hours, it was missing. Finally, a dear friend found several other girls in the bathroom reading it and discussing it. She took it from them and gave it back to me. This was not the end of my anxiety. The real names of several guys I was crushing on were circled, and I was so stressed about the whole thing that I had a bloody nose that night. That incident somehow didn't stop me from keeping diaries. I also did not get smart enough to change the names or censor the type of events I recorded in it. I still have them, but they are an embarrassment. If I had traded in my diaries for sketchbooks, I would have matured in several ways. Decades later, to read these diaries leaves a bad taste. I don't recognize myself. I have not recorded anything that posterity would find helpful. I was ungrateful, sarcastic, mean, and preoccupied with my looks and everyone else's too. These diaries are also all written with a negativity bias. They're basically a collection of rants. There are no recollections of the places I lived, the weather, or the blessings I had. I struggle to find anything good in them except lessons learned. Now that I am 56 and I have an idea of how God wants me to live, I see that giving a child a secular education and no spiritual education is a mistake. If I'd had more direction and more Bible study, I would have had a different perspective. Even if I had insisted on being difficult, at least I would have had less time for foolishness. Keeping a gratitude journal is much better than a diary, and so is keeping a sketchbook. If you use your sketchbook as a journal of your life, there's no danger of being exposed or of recording anything negative. It will still be a recording of your days and give all the benefits that keeping a diary could offer. By using drawings instead of words to record your life, they will be treasures for your grandchildren to have. I saw a YouTube artist using her sketchbook as a gratitude journal, and I think that is a capital idea. Looking back on gratitude journals is an uplifting experience and tells a lot about what was going on in your life at the time, and so does a sketchbook. So in the future, I will try this exercise as a record of my day or week, and also try keeping a sketchbook that is also a gratitude journal. And maybe you might like to try it too. That is it, and that is all.